Hey everyone, welcome back to my course. So in today's chapter, we'll look into styling and what options we have with Next.js. So as you can see, until now we are able to get some basic page done, but looks pretty ugly and we need to get into CSS of it. So the Next.js gives us three options. We have the CSS modules, we do have a style.js, and we do have a global styles. So if I open my code again, so we have here, and next to pages we have styles, and you can see we have global.css. So basically this CSS, whatever goes here, gets applied to all the pages or all your components by default. So that's why it's called global. And if you can see where it's imported into your app.js. So that's what it gets implied to all your application. As you can see here, you can import it here. You can create also another CSS files and import them within your actual components. Another one we have is modules.css. So that's built-in functionality with Next.js. We don't have to add configuration into like in React. Well, what we have to do, just create a component and have extension as, create a file with an extension of .module.css. We have here an example, which we are not using actually. So it's called home.module.css. So what you can do at some stage whenever you have a component, let's say we have country card. I can come here and create country card.module.css, or I don't know, you can call whatever you want, country.module.css, and then you import that one in here. Okay, so that's another one. The third option is the side component, if you are familiar with that when using React. So that's basically you have your CSS within your component file. So what I will do, I will go back to my UI, and what I will do, I'll create some style, just a basic style to a little bit match this screenshot we have on the left. So just add some background, some padding, and also style this component for now. I will not look into adding all these fields at the moment. We'll keep that for later, but I'll just try to get this UI a bit fancy so we can work with it. Just stay with me. I'll pause the video for some time until I do the CSS, then I will come back so I don't waste your time with the CSS, which is not a target for learning within this course. Hey everyone, so I took some time to add some basic CSS. So I'm trying not really to do pixel perfect for the design I have, but it's just like general idea to know how to use CSS. So I used two different ways of adding CSS, one using the global.css, another using the modules. So for the global CSS, what I did is just import a font, make sure everything on my UI is using that font, and also add a background color to my application, and make sure all my text is white, because as per my design, as we can see, most of the text is white, then just few of them are different. We'll just change them later. So, and then what I did for the card itself, I created a modules file for the CSS. So let's go see inside my card. So this one is imported inside my country card. If you can see here, I imported card.module.css, and I keep them in the same route. Some people prefer to keep everything under styles, but that's preference for each and every person. For me, I prefer to keep my stylings. If it's not styled JSX, which is same style within same components, and if I use the modules, I keep them next to my components. So the time I'm debugging or I'm doing changes, it's easy for me to find. So I imported my file here. Okay, and the way you do it is that in the class name, you do styles dot the class name that you created. So here I have card class name, I have bold for the bold text class name, and I have gray text. So the way I did is that I import styles from this module, and then I just do styles dot class name, then styles dot bold, styles dot gray text, and so on until you finish. Same thing I did for my countries page. So for my countries page also I created a countries module CSS, and that's one basically all what I'm doing is just adding some padding and make sure it's a flex display because I want my cards to be next to each other. So my final UI looks much prettier. There we go. So if you see here, this is my countries. So that's when you see countries is the component, underscore countries wrapper, which is class. Then it adds some identifier that Next.js added. So that's how it works is, for example, let's like import this class, countries class, in other component. It will not be mixed up and not overridden, because each time you do it, Next.js by default will add some identifier, so you don't have a conflict later. Okay, so if you see here, countries, it have my flex display, my padding around, and yeah, and that's it. And that's the one in here. And then what I did, I want to say, okay, whatever elements under this wrapper, I want them to be this much. I mean, add some margin. I don't want them to cross this width, and also this one just to fit 4 cards in a row. So people do different ways for the flex. So for the sake of this course, I just did this one very quick. I don't spend time on making sure the CSS is perfect. That's for another course. So, and that's my endpoint. So if you see here, you have 2 class. So the one I pass from the parent and the one which is in the actual card. So if I go back to my code and I go to the card, country card, you see here, that's how I do it. So I'm reading the class name from the parent one I'm passing, which is in here, because I want that class to be passed down, so you have to add it in here. So I'm saying I'm reading the class name, then space, then add up whatever style in my actual CSS for this file. So space, then styles.card. So that's how we got 2 classes in here, one coming from the parent and one from the actual components. I hope that helps. So in what I will do first, behind the scene, I'll just go and fix a few other things with CSS, and you'll find everything on my GitHub down in the description. And in next chapter, we will learn how we can import an image in here, which we need it in our design. So stay tuned and see you in the next chapter.